Hi guys, this is my Pothos Marble Queen clippings. So these were clipped about 14, so like 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago. I didn't have the opportunity to vlog that, and sometimes it's just when I can squeeze it in, I just kind of do it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the rest of my video. You're gonna hit the like, subscribe, and of course the bell, so you're notified every single time I do upload a new video. All my social media accounts are in the description section, just like everything that I do use to propagate this plant. So I clip below a node from my Pothos Marble Queen mother plant. I just want her pot to be a little bit more fuller. And that's just my personal preference. You don't really need to do that. I just prefer to do that. I want her to be fuller, lusher, bushier, all that good stuff. So I clipped, and I prefer the ones with higher variegation. So I clipped the ones with variegation. I didn't clip certain leaves or propagated those leaves in this pot. It's just from what I've noticed with Pothos is that it's best to clip and propagate if you want high variegation from already a variegated leaf or a node that had a variegated leaf or a high variegation. So that's just what I did. I have clipped this plant before and propagated it before. And Pothos is definitely one of those very easy to propagate plants. However, I'm never really successful in water propagation, so I always use coco coir. Again, everything that I do use to propagate these clippings are down in the description section. So what I do is I dip it in a liquid rooting, like rooting enhancer, or I don't even know what it's really called, like a root booster, root enhancer, it's like, it does so many different things. So I dip it in that. I keep it there 5 to 10 minutes. I then dip it in rooting hormone powder because I already have that handy. I just don't want to waste it, but it's actually just okay with the liquid. I have noticed though, like, because there's 2 different kinds, I think it could be like psychologically that it does root a little bit better. That's just me. And after that, I put it in coco coir. And I water it with a like a mixture for clippings or rootless plants that I'm propagating, and that will be down below as well. So if you're curious on what I do, that is all that I do. I have tried propagating in water, in soil, and I am unsuccessful with that. I would just like to let people know, though, that soil can be very dense. So if you are really good at doing that, you know, bravo to you. But if you're new to propagation, and I would suggest not really use soil, because from my personal experience, they tend to rot. I would say probably 50 or less will root, and it takes a little bit longer. And for me, it's just easier to take them out with coco coir versus soil. So I'm going to show you, it's been 13 days. I'm going to show you that when I tug it, it's going to not pop out. So that's when I know that it's working, and just a very gentle tug, and that the root is starting to grow. When that does happen, that just means that everything is working. And these are all the clippings. There hasn't been anything that rotted or went bad. Every single one is rooting. So I'm very happy with that. Again, a Pothos is one of the easier plants to clip and propagate. Another one from my personal experience is a Philodendron scandens, also a Syngonium. Those are also easy to do. There are other ones that are a little bit more challenging. Tradescansias are also easy, but depending on the variety. The easiest would be the Zebrina pendula. The lilac is somewhat moderate. The albiflora is probably the one of the hardest, and then the Nanook is definitely the hardest from my personal experience to root. But this, you know, I would think between 10 to 14 days, that's when you tug it, especially with the Pothos, or like after week 1, so like 7-8 day in, when you tug it, then it's, you know, it can do that. But I would suggest do it maybe closer to day 13, 14. It's just better to do that, because just what if there's like 2 millimeter of root growth and you tugged it and it's gonna rip, you know what I mean? So maybe safest is like week 2. And now what I'm going to do is just let her sit there for maybe a month or 2. And I would say in about between like 6 weeks to 8 to 10 weeks, the root system should be enough that I can transplant her back in the mother plant pot. And this is a personal preference. If you are not doing everything that I'm exactly doing, like I'm adding supplement every time I water. She sits above a heat pad 24/7. She gets LED plant light at least 12 hours a day, because there is no natural light that hits my propagation station. I would suggest really do pay attention on how quickly your clippings will root, because if it's not that heavy, it might be difficult for them to acclimate well in a well-established pot with better root system, because they're, you know, the more established roots in the mother plant pot will be tougher, and they are definitely going to get more of the nutrients versus the newer ones. So if you are going to do something like that, sometimes you really have to consider that, because there have been some people that they would clip and propagate to make it fuller, and then sometimes when they transplant it and mix it together, the new ones actually die, and it's just because there's not enough room, or the roots from the mother plant is very, very heavily established, and the new ones is like faintly established. Like you probably just need a few more weeks to get it and put it in there. I water this when the top, I would say like this right here, will be the light shade brown color on the top. And that usually is like every week. That's the rule of thumb, is between like 6 to 8, 9 days. And I water it, and that's it. I don't do anything else but turn my propagation station light on every morning, turn it off before going to bed. And I have an alert and when to water. And that's between, you know, probably like a weekly basis. So that's it. Just so you know, rootless clippings, especially from the very beginning, like day 1, day 2, and stuff like that, because they are rootless, it's harder for them to absorb the water, so don't really overwater them. They're very sensitive in that, and they have a higher chance of just dying and rotting quickly. Second, I've been asked before why I do, you know, a lot of clippings in one pot. This is a 6-inch pot, and the reason for that is I've noticed there's just more clippings to absorb the water rather than have like one in one pot. It's just from my personal experience, it's easier for them to root. It's easier for them because there is no root system. It's just easier for that to share, and a very, very low chance of rotting and not rooting, because they share the moisture and they share the container, if that makes any sense. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comment section below. If you want to talk about propagation, clipping Pothos, Marble Queen, anything, let me know down in the comment section. I love hearing from you guys all the time, and I'm very, very chatty, so feel free to reach out at any time. And again, all my social media accounts are in the description section, so do check that out. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.